everyone. Welcome to Computer Programming class. I am Robiti Santos, through Senior High School ICT teacher. So our topic for today is the Introduction to HTML Programming. Ang mga learning objectives natin: first, define HTML. Second, identify different text editors. Third, use text editor to create HTML code. And fourth is view HTML documents in a web browser. Para naman sa lesson distribution natin, ang lesson natin for today is divided into 3 parts. So, hinati natin into 3 parts para mas madali siyang i-deliver at the same time mas madaling intindihin. Ang first part is Introduction to HTML. Ang mga subtopic niya: what is HTML, exploring text editors, and doc type declaration. For the second part, we have creating an HTML document. Ano naman ang pag-aaralan dito? Writing an HTML file using your Notepad or an unwriter application para sa mga mobile users. And for our third one, writing your first HTML code. So this time, gagawa na kayo ng first HTML code ninyo using the basic starting document. Paano natin isi-save yung HTML document at paano natin makikita yung output ng ating HTML document using our web browser. Okay, so now let's begin our first part of our lesson. Introduction to HTML. Siyempre, before you would be able to create a web page or a website, series of web pages, you must know first ano yung tinatawag nating HTML, which is considered as the foundation of all web pages and websites. So, HTML is an acronym for Hypertext Markup Language. So, i-dissect natin, no, yung definition niya. Hypertext. Ano ba yung tinatawag nating hypertext? Hypertext means text that can jump from one point to another. So, once you click a link on a web page, it means you already used hypertext. May mga text dun sa mga web pages na pagka-click mo, you move from one point to another. You move from one page to another. Okay? So, that is considered an hypertext. Markup. Ano naman yung markup? It is a way to structure content so that we can distinguish between different blocks of text. So, i-divide mo yung text natin from an HTML document into different block dealing with different formatting. Ini-structure natin siya. Inaayos natin yung HTML content. And it is considered as a language because language is used to communicate with the computer by giving instructions on what to do with the content or data that we input. So, yung language na yon, gagamitin natin to interact with the computer para alam ni computer anong gagawin niya dun sa data content that we have. On this case, not just the computer itself, but at the same time, our web browser. An HTML is considered a text formatting language. Bakit siya tinawag na text formatting language? Kasi, ang content niya are plain text. Then, we have to format it para maging presentable sila and the display for our web browser. HTML help us to structure our web page and the data content that are included in our web page. So, with the use of the HTML, pwede nating i-organize, ayusin yung mga content, data display that are present or supposed to be presented in our web page. Okay? Next, text editors. Okay? HTML text editor are software application para makapag-create tayo ng mga web pages. Since ang HTML ay plain text document, we can use any text editing programs. Okay? So, ito yung mga example ng mga text editing programs natin. Meron tayong mga text editors. Any among those text editors can be used for coding an HTML file. On our case, we would be using Notepad or Notepad++. Okay, yan yung mga common na ginagamit natin. For the series of an example in this class, we would be using Notepad alone. Okay, Notepad alone for those who are using desktop and laptop. Okay? We also have the so-called HTML editors, either Adobe Dreamweaver, Microsoft Expression, or NetBeans. But on our lessons, we will not be using this one. Anong pinagkaiba ni HTML editors kay text editors? Si text editor, you code. You create the code. Okay? Kay HTML editors, it is more on click and drop. Okay? You click, you drag, you drop. Okay? Available yung mga objects natin. But, since your course is computer programming, so it is much better that you learn how to code. Okay? Another form or type ng ating text editor are for those who are using mobile devices. Okay? Or gumagamit ng mga cell phones. So, we can also create our web pages using our cell phones by downloading the mobile app. Okay? On our case, ang gagamitin natin is the Unwriter. So, you may download the app for free sa ating mga Play Stores. Okay? So, yun yung mga gagamitin natin as the software for us to code our HTML file. Doc-type declaration. Para saan naman to? Okay? The doc-type declaration is used to inform our web browser paano niyang i-display yung web page na ginawa natin. It varies from one version to another. So, ang papakita ko na lang yung two succeeding version. Okay? So, doc-type declaration kay HTML4, existing pa kasi yan, ganyan yung format ng doc-type niya. So, lahat ng HTML file na gawa kay HTML4, meron siyang ganyan on the upper part of the document. For HTML5, which this one is ang gagamitin natin for the entire content, ganito lang kasimple yung doc-type declaration. So, at the beginning of each HTML file that you would be using, or you would be creating, lalagyan natin ng doc-type declaration para alam ni web browser kung ang gamit mo na version for HTML is version 4 or version 5. Okay? So, that is the first part. Let's proceed on the second part of our topic, creating HTML document. So how do we write an HTML file? First, definitely, we will be needing text editor. Okay, so kung ang gamit nyo ay desktop or laptop, we would be using Notepad. Kung ang gamit mo ay mobile device or cell phone, you would be using Unwriter. Okay? Next, after creating our document, we have to save the file. Pero, dahil text editor siya, kailangan mong masiguro na ang extension name mo pag sinave ang file ay merong .htm or .html para ma-recognize that this file is considered an HTML document viewable on a web browser. Okay? Para pagka inopen mo siya sa web browser, the content would be displayed in the web browser. So, ayan yung Notepad para sa mga users natin ng desktop or laptop, and Unwriter for our mobile users. So, starting an HTML coding using a Notepad. So, for our desktop and laptop users, ito yung inyong mga procedures. First, you have to click the start button. Ayan. Kiklik mo yung start button from the window of your monitor, o di kaya, i-click mo or i-press mo yung window key from your keyboard. So, once you click the start button, Okay? Pwede mo nang i-type sa search box yung Notepad. Pag tinype mo yung Notepad from the search box, okay, madi-display yung application. By the way, Notepad is a default application for our operating systems. Hindi mo na yan kailangang i-install. Okay, hindi na natin siya kailangang i-install. Default app yung mga yan. But if you were supposed to use Notepad++, then you have to install it. Okay, so but on this case, para hindi na tayo nag-i-install, we would be using Notepad. Okay, so pagka-type nyo ng Notepad, lalabas yung app, i-click mo lang tong app dito para ma-open yung mismong Notepad and environment. Ayan. So, ito na yung Notepad window natin. Yan yung gagamitin natin, okay, for coding our HTML. But definitely, dapat familiar ka dun sa mga parts niya. Parts ng mismong enter window para hindi ka nalilito with the content. First, we have the so-called title bar. Ano ba yung title bar? Okay, anong gamit ng title bar for our Notepad window? So, the title bar indicates yung title ng text file. As of now, dahil wala pa tayong sinisave na file, so, ang nakalagay dyan, untitled. Okay, untitled. Pero pag nag-save na tayo ng file, lalabas dito yung mismong file name na nilagay natin. Do not forget to have the extension name .htm or HTML file. Anyway, it would be demonstrated later. The next part is the menu bar. Okay, ang menu bar, may mga group of commands tayo per menu na available para kay Notepad. Sa pagsisave, ang kailangan natin is the file. And the rest, you can explore it as we go along. Okay? Next, itong buong blank white space dito, ang tawag natin dyan, text area o di kaya work area. Diyan sa part na yan, diyan mo itatype yung source code natin or yung tinatawag nating HTML code. Okay, next, we have the control buttons. Okay? The fourth part, control buttons, yung merong minimize, maximize, and close. These are buttons that is used to control the Notepad window as a whole. Pag kinlik mo si minimize, liliit yung window, pupunta dun sa status bar ng mismong screen. Pag kinlik mo si maximize, lalaki yung window. Pag kinlik mo si X, magko-close yung ating Notepad window. The next component is the scroll bar. Ito yon. Okay, the scroll bar. Pag madami na yung content natin ng code, we can click the up button or the up scroll bar and the down scroll bar para mag-move tayo from each content of our code. And the last part is the status bar. Okay, status bar na nag-indicate ng line number, column number ng cursor natin, at yung viewing natin for the windows. So, this is our Notepad window na dapat familiar kayo because you would be using the Notepad for the entire class coding natin for this subject. What if you were supposed to use an unwriter? Okay, you were supposed to use mobile for coding or cellphone. So, gagamit ka ng unwriter. Download nyo yung application sa mobile phone ninyo. Ito yung Unwriter that is free. Okay, free naman siya for downloading. And then, ito yung kanyang environment. Okay, for the Unwriter user, medyo mas madami yung kanyang content. Okay, meron tayong application name. So, si number 1, si application name. Yan, nakalagay yung pangalan lang ni Unwriter. Anong app ang gamit natin? Next, we have the text or work area. So, katulad ni Notepad, dyan ninyo itatype yung inyong source code, HTML code, yung mga commands natin. Next, we have the show autocomplete menu. Okay? Toggle menu yan. Pag kinlik mo, may lalabas na mga auto-completions para lang hindi ka type for the enter content. Next, we have the insert symbol. Yan yung mga symbol na ginagamit natin for HTML coding. We have the angle bracket, the opening and closing angle bracket. We have the forward slash for our closing tag and the rest. Next, we have the show hide cursor toolbar. Okay, so yan lang yung movement and yung selection panel natin. I-move mo yung cursor up and down, left or right para ma-navigate mo yung code mo. Next, we have the show or hide action toolbar. Okay, it allows us to show or hide our command for actions. Okay, yung mga nandito lang sa baba para ma-hide or ma-show natin sila. This one is the preview web page, the seventh component. Okay, preview. Pag natapos mo yung code mo, pag kinlik mo to, makikita mo yung output. Okay, in a web browser display. Then, ito yung noname.html file name. Naka-display dyan yung file name. Pag nag-save na tayo, dyan mo makikita yung file name. But since hindi pa naka-save at wala pang content, noname.html pa lang siya. And the latter part is the control buttons. This includes the other controls na gagamitin natin for the application, particularly our save button and the new. Okay, ito yung save button at saka yung new pag magki-create tayo ng new HTML file using Writer. So how do we write our first HTML code? This is our last subtopic. Create the basic starting document. Okay, so HTML document structure, meron tayong mga foundation tags na tinatawag that exist or available dapat, nandun dapat lahat sa mga existing HTML code natin. First step, you open your text editor, either Notepad or Writer. And then, you type the given sample code. Okay? So, let's explain the HTML code given. Sa Notepad ninyo, itatype nyo yan o kaya kay Writer. If you would just going to notice, gumamit ako ng indentation. Naka-indent para i-specify, okay, specify yung mga groupings. So, ito naka-indent. Diba? Naka-indent siya dyan. Ito, naka-indent. This one is also indented. Same as this one. So, they are indented. Ibig sabihin, in-arrange ko lang para mas madaling mag-code and at the same time, mas madaling mag-debug. So, let's explain each part. We have the HTML. So, pair yan. Pares yung tag na yan, ha? They are considered as pair. Hindi po pwedeng mawala ang isa. This is the opening. This is the closing. Lahat ng code natin for HTML, lahat ng file natin, nandun dapat sa HTML tag. It encloses the entire HTML document. These tags let the browser know to start reading and displaying the information that are presented with. So, ini-enclose niya yung buo. Sakop niya tong buong to. Okay? Lahat ng ito, nakapaloob sa HTML tag na opening at closing. Lahat ng closing tag, merong forward slash. Ayan. So, this is the beginning and this is the closing tag. The next tag is the head tag. Okay? The head tag elements contain all the information about the document in general at ang pinaka-importante, it encloses the title. Okay? It encloses the title. Lahat ng other formatting and relationship to other document, inilalagay natin sa loob ng head tag. So, we would be having a detailed discussion for the head tag as we go along. Okay, next is the title tag. Okay. The title tag contains our title of the web that is supposed to be displayed on our web page. Okay, yung title niya. Makikita yan sa title bar ng ating web browser. A title tag, the entire title tag must be within the head tag. Nakapaloob siya kay head tag. So, bago mag-close si head tag, nandun si title tag. Okay? And then, the last one is the body tag. The body tag contains the entire content to be displayed in our web page. Ito si content. Yan yung content. Yan yung i-display sa web page. Si body tag ang pinakamadaming content when it comes to HTML. So after creating our basic document, the next step is for us to save it. Paano natin siyang isi-save? Okay? I-click mo si menu bar na file. Okay, menu bar na file. And then, save. Okay? Pagka-click mo ng file, save. Okay? Lalabas ang ating next window, the Save As window. So, pay attention on this part. Okay? Pay a very careful attention on this part. Pag sinave mo siya, on a Save As window, what is important is yung file type. You have to change it into all files. Be sure na yung file type mo ang nakalagay all files. I-click mo lang itong drop down dito, hanapin si all files. Para yan yung mas-select niya. Tapos, lalagyan mo na ng file name. So, ang file name, halimbawa, nilagay ko, my first code. Ito pwedeng magpalit. Okay? Itong my first code, pwedeng magpalit. Ang my first code na yan, pwedeng palitan. What is important is, dapat nandun yung extension name natin na .html. Okay? The extension name na .html. So, this is important. Do not forget to include the .htm or .html na extension file. After that, you click the Save button. So, nakapag-create ka na, nakapag-save ka na, the next thing that we're supposed to do is to preview it. So, for Unwriter user, just click the Save button. And then, it would going to ask you for the file name. Lagay ang file name. And then, click Save. Okay. So, na-save. Paano natin makikita yung output? So, once it is saved, you can now open the output in a web browser. Follow the given step. Launch any browser. Open ka ng kahit anong browser. Press mo ang Control key plus O or Control O para i-open niya ang dialog box na open. Ayan. So, andun yung HTML file natin. Hanapin mo yung location niya. Saan mo ba siya sinave? Saang part ng computer mo siya sinave. Tapos, hanapin mo yung HTML file mo. And then, you just click the open button. Pagka-click mo ng open button, ayan, malalabas na yung ating output. Okay. Ito yung laman ni body tag. Yan yung laman ni body tag. Ito yung laman ni head tag, which is the title tag. Okay. Yan yung mga kinode natin kanina with our HTML code. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you very much. Again, this is Rubiti Santos, your senior high school teacher for ICT Computer Programming. See you on our next lesson.